Have you ever wondered why some people explore parts of their body that most of us rarely talk about? I'm talking about anal or back masturbation. Yes, that's a topic that can make people blush, or even squirm a little in their seat. But here's the thing. Curiosity about your own body is completely normal. And it's something everyone experiences in one way or another. The reason we haven't really discussed it openly is cultural. Society has made certain parts of the body taboo, but curiosity doesn't care about taboos. It's a natural human impulse. Now, I don't want you to feel awkward or judged. This isn't about shame, and is not about what anyone should or shouldn't do. It's about understanding human behavior, and more importantly, understanding yourself. Think about the last time you explored your body in a new way. Maybe it was discovering a spot that just felt amazing, or experimenting with touch you hadn't tried before. That feeling of curiosity, the desire to understand what your body responds to, is exactly what leads some people to explore anal pleasure. It's about experimentation, learning, and personal discovery. And here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about physical sensation. There's a mental component too. Curiosity and a willingness to explore can lead to confidence, a stronger connection to your own body, and even reduce stress. People are looking for new ways to experience pleasure, yes, but also for ways to feel more in tune with themselves. So before we get into the science, the safety, and all the practical details, just remember this. Curiosity is healthy, exploration is normal, and your body is there for you to understand, not to judge. That's why we're here, and that's why this conversation matters. So, now that we've acknowledged that curiosity is completely natural, let's dive a little deeper into why people actually explore anal or back masturbation. You see, it's not just about novelty or doing something forbidden. There are multiple layers to it, and understanding them can really change how we think about pleasure and self-exploration. First, pleasure is a big part of it. The anal area is rich in nerve endings, and stimulation there can feel very different from other kinds of touch. For some people, it hits places their usual methods of self-pleasure don't reach, creating sensations that are new, intense, or even deeply relaxing. And that's part of the draw. It's about discovering what your own body responds to. Then there's curiosity and self-discovery. Exploring this area is often about learning your body's boundaries and comfort zone. It's asking yourself, what feels good? What doesn't? How does my body respond? This is an important part of sexual education that nobody really talks about, that your own body is a map, and exploring it safely helps you understand yourself better. Some people also explore for relaxation or stress relief. It can be meditative. The rhythm, the focus on sensation, the connection to your own body, all of it can calm the mind in a way that's surprisingly restorative. And for people with a prostate, there's an additional layer of unique pleasure that's anatomically specific, but even without that, it's about sensation and awareness. The common thread through all of this is self-connection. People explore because it feels good, because they're curious, and because it helps them tune into their own bodies in a way that builds confidence and reduces shame. In short, exploring isn't just physical, it's a conversation with yourself. And that's why it matters. So now that we understand the why behind exploration, let's talk about what's actually happening in the body when people explore anal pleasure. And don't worry, this is all normal, natural, and completely educational. The first thing to know is that the anal area is packed with nerve endings. That means it's highly sensitive to touch, pressure, and stimulation. For many people, this sensitivity creates completely new sensations that differ from what they might feel through other types of self-pleasure. That's part of why curiosity leads to such a strong draw. The body is literally wired to respond. For people with a prostate, this sensitivity is even more interesting. The prostate sits just inside the rectum and can be stimulated indirectly through gentle anal touch or massage. When engaged safely, this can produce a kind of deep, unique pleasure that's hard to compare to other sensations. But even without a prostate, the nerve pathways around the anus and perineum respond to touch in ways that can feel surprising, intense, or deeply relaxing. It's also important to know that this is entirely normal from a biological perspective. The body has multiple erogenous zones, and the anal area is one of them. The brain processes these signals, the same way it does other pleasurable sensations, with a release of feel-good chemicals and a sense of satisfaction. Understanding the anatomy doesn't just make exploration safer, it makes it more enjoyable. When you know what's happening and why your body reacts the way it does, you can approach self-exploration with curiosity and confidence instead of hesitation or fear. So the takeaway here is simple. Your body is designed to respond, explore, and enjoy, and understanding it is the first step toward doing so safely and pleasurably. Now that we've talked about the body and why people explore, it's really important to pause and talk about safety and hygiene.
Pleasure is amazing, but it's always better when it's also safe and responsible. The first thing to know is that the anus doesn't self-lubricate the way the vagina does. That means if you're exploring this area, using plenty of high-quality lube is absolutely essential. Water-based or silicone-based lubricants are both good options. They reduce friction, make the experience smoother, and help prevent discomforting.
Hygiene is another key piece of the puzzle. Washing your hands and cleaning the area beforehand isn't just about being neat. It reduces the risk of infections or irritation. For those using toys, make sure they're specifically designed for anal play, and always choose ones with a flared base. That flared base isn't just a detail. It's what keeps the toy from going too far inside, which is really important for safety. Even small things matter, like keeping fingernails trimmed and smooth. If you prefer, gloves or condoms on fingers or toys add an extra layer of protection. And this can't be emphasized enough. Listen to your body. If it hurts, stop. Pain is your body's signal that something isn't right. It's not a sign to push through. The last piece is emotional safety. Take your time, explore at your own pace, and don't feel pressured by anyone or anything. Self-exploration is about curiosity and pleasure, not about performance or achievement. So, in short, safety and hygiene aren't just rules. They are what make exploration enjoyable, comfortable, and empowering. When you take care of your body, you're free to explore confidently and fully. Now that we've covered safety and hygiene, there's one more piece that's just as important, and that's consent, both with yourself and, if you choose, with a partner. You might be thinking, well, if I'm exploring alone, what does consent have to do with it? But the truth is, consent isn't just about someone else agreeing to something. It's also about respecting your own boundaries, listening to your body, and giving yourself permission to stop, pause, or adjust at any time. When you're exploring, ask yourself, am I comfortable? Am I relaxed? Do I feel ready for this? Your body will give you signals, and honoring those signals is the foundation of safe and pleasurable self-exploration. Nobody benefits if you ignore discomfort or push past what feels right. Consent is about choice, and choice makes the experience empowering rather than stressful or overwhelming. If you decide to share anal exploration with a partner, communication becomes equally critical.
Being open, honest, and non-judgmental creates trust, and trust makes the experience safer and more enjoyable. Simple things like talking about boundaries, using safe words, and checking in regularly can completely change the dynamic. It's not just about pleasure, it's about connection, respect, and mutual understanding. Remember, consent is a continuous conversation, not a one-time agreement. You can adjust, say no, or stop at any moment, and that's perfectly okay. Being in tune with yourself and communicating openly with others makes the experience richer, more confident, and more satisfying. So the key takeaway here is simple. Consent isn't just a rule, it's a practice. When you respect yourself and others, you're creating a safe space for curiosity, exploration, and genuine pleasure. So far, we've talked about curiosity, the body, safety, and consent. But now let's get to what I like to call the real reason people explore anal, or back masturbation. And this is where everything comes together. Why it's not just about novelty or sensation, but also about empowerment and self-connection. Exploration is often a way for people to reclaim ownership of their bodies. Society teaches so many mixed messages about what's acceptable or normal when it comes to pleasure, especially when it comes to areas that are considered taboo. When someone takes the time to explore safely and mindfully, they're not just seeking pleasure. They're saying to themselves, I know my body, I respect it, and I have the right to experience joy on my own terms. That kind of empowerment is huge, and it often spills over into other areas of life. boosting confidence and body positivity. Another reason is emotional curiosity.
Pleasure isn't purely physical, it's also mental and emotional. People explore new sensations to understand how they respond, to break down shame, and to feel more comfortable in their own skin. It's an act of self-discovery, a conversation with yourself that can teach patience, mindfulness, and acceptance. And here's the beauty of it. This exploration is not about shame, secrecy, or something to hide. It's about understanding your body, acknowledging your desires, and learning what feels good without judgment. That's the empowerment piece. When curiosity meets knowledge, and pleasure is combined with respect and safety, the experience becomes transformative. So the real reason people explore isn't just for the sensation. It's about owning their pleasure, connecting with themselves, and stepping confidently into their sexual autonomy. So we've explored curiosity, the body, safety, consent, and even the deeper reasons why people engage in anal or back masturbation, and now it's time to bring it all together. One of the most important things I want you to take away from this conversation is this. What we've been talking about is normal. It's a natural part of human sexuality. There's no shame in exploring your own body, in understanding what feels good, or in taking time to discover your own pleasure. The truth is, most adults are curious about their bodies in ways they might not openly discuss. Exploring different sensations is part of learning about yourself, building confidence, and connecting with your own desires. When we normalize this conversation, we break down the stigma that keeps people feeling embarrassed or guilty about their curiosity. And that makes a huge difference, not just in how we experience pleasure, but in how we see ourselves and our sexuality.
Normalization also means understanding that there's no one right way to explore. Everyone's body is unique, everyone's comfort levels are different, and everyone's experience of pleasure will vary. What matters is that you approach it with respect, knowledge, and a focus on your own safety and well-being. That mindset is what transforms exploration from something that feels secretive or taboo into an empowering, healthy, and positive experience.
So the takeaway here is simple. Curiosity is natural, exploration is healthy, and your pleasure matters. When we remove shame, embrace knowledge, and prioritize safety and consent, self-exploration becomes a celebration of your body and your autonomy. It's not just about sensation, it's about empowerment, self-awareness, and embracing the full spectrum of your sexuality.